So welcome to this video where I'm going to be talking about an interview for a recruitment consultant. Now, it's going to be some tips and tricks as well as some helpful information. Whether you're going for an interview as a recruitment consultant, or you're looking at possibly applying for one, whether it's a resourcer, trainee, associate, or just a full-out recruitment consultant, this video should help in preparing for the interview. So I'm going to start off with 2 points. First being the type of recruiter. Typically 90% of the time, there's 2 types of recruiters. Now, there's a temporary, which focuses on short-term placements, which is ongoing, and there's also permanent. With the temporary positions, you could hire someone that could be in a 6-month contract or somewhere where it's ongoing. Now, these tend to be, high-level IT, so it could be, a software developer that needs to develop a program or piece of software for £500 a day, and you charge the company 600, 700, and you pay the employee 500. So there's a lot of admin behind this. Sometimes you have to do your own payroll. So that's the temporary side. Now the benefit of it is you'll definitely once you make 10 people or 10 placements, you'll have ongoing sort of commissions every month. And there's probably a target you have to reach before you actually start getting commission. So based on that, what you'll be looking at is, you could actually be billing about 10,000, let's say, gross profit. So it usually works off gross profit. So if you do have 10,000 gross profit, you will probably be earning about £1,000 per month every month, as long as those people continue to work. So based on that, you could obviously build up a nice net. There's also the other side, which is high volume. So it could be warehouse workers, forklift drivers, you name it. And these typically aim to be blue collar. So with that being said, you can actually have 100, 200 people on your books, and with that, a lot of people do very well. They tend to be making very good money based on that, gross profit wise. The other side is obviously permanent. Now permanent is obviously, as the name says, a permanent member of staff. Now what they'll be doing is you'll be placing people in full-time positions, and you'll charge the company a fee. So usually it's, let's say for example, the salary is 50,000. You'll charge the company, let's say 10%, which is very low, £5,000. So your commission that you brought in would be £5,000 per commission, per placement successful if someone accepts the job and starts. You'll probably be getting a commission off that. It can vary from 5 to 15 to 30% off the 5,000. So your company keeps the rest, and you'll be keeping that. So let's say you get 10% of 10%, which will be 10% of £5,500. You will obviously inherit that as a commission for the month their person actually starts. Now with permanent, the advantage is you can make very good money. If you make let's say 10 placements, you'll be getting £5,000 commission off that. Now with regards to temporary, it's obviously guaranteed. You could have a bad month and you'll still have the sort of rolling commission that comes in every month. You just add to it and manage it as it goes. With the high level sort of volume recruitment, which is a lot of people, you typically have to work Saturdays and Sundays, if I'm honest, just managing that. So that's being said, whichever one you're going for, it depends on the interview. Now, if you're going for temporaries, you want to obviously aim for very good at organization skills, and customer service will be very important. Now, working very hard and long hours will typically be more on the temporary side, but I find a lot of people make much more money on the permanent side, and it's easier to do, but every month you have to perform. So with interviews, it depends on the company you're going for. Now, if you're going for the sort of big 3, which is Reed, Adecco, those sorts of companies, you'll be looking at assessment days, stage interviews, which is probably 2 stages and an assessment day. Typically they aim for sort of graduates. They don't pay that great, but in terms of what they're looking for is someone very hardworking, very proactive, and it's sorts of questions that will be asked that they're looking for. It's good to look at what the employer is looking for. They want someone that is very driven, very hardworking. I know this very generic term. So the types of questions you'll be asked is, give me a time where you've given great customer service. You want to demonstrate your skills in terms of thinking outside the box. So going under the premise that the recruitment job is a sales job. Now, they want to see revenue growth. So if you've done sales, they want to see consistent hitting your targets. So you want to give examples of your sort of efforts. So one of the questions that may pose is, give me a time where you've exceeded your targets. Definitely I would, give examples of, I had a target of 10,000 and, every month I hit 15,000, and demonstrate that with your targets. Now, this doesn't matter if you've worked in a shop or you've had no experience at all. You can always use targets to that. So it could be, look, I'm great at meeting deadlines, very proactive in working, all my studies, I've always achieved very high. I aim for the highest. You want to give examples like that. Even if you worked in a shoe shop, just say, look, I was always the top performer. I sold the most shoes, for example, which is a sales job. Now, the key things that people look for in a recruitment interview is someone very driven. Now, a lot of people say, oh yeah, I'm very driven, I'm money motivated. You want to sort of, expand on that in terms of, how you are motivated, money driven. So it's, projection. You want to talk about what would be my sort of target. Ask that in your questioning. What would be my target? If I exceed my targets, what would be my commission look like in that? So you don't just want to say you're money motivated. You want to give examples of this. Another key question that will be guaranteed will come up will be, why do you want to work in recruitment? So the typical answer for this, and a lot of people say, is I love people and I want to help them get jobs. Now that's quite a weak answer, and it's an answer that's often given to most of that sort of question. So 90% of the people will ask that. So how I would refrain from answering it like that, I would definitely suggest along the lines of, customer service is key for me. I enjoy obviously dealing with the business to business side, and also it's appealing to have the B2C side. And I regard it as, giving a good level of service will definitely achieve that. Also mention that in your past jobs, you look to, exceed your targets and, be the best you can. And with sales and recruitment, I feel that I'll be rewarded monetarily for that sort of position. So obviously, if you overachieve and you do well and you work harder than everyone else, you're definitely going to be doing fantastic. So key traits that they look for is someone hardworking, someone not shy. You don't want to come across as sort of a Jack the Lad, or you really want to, like a cheesy salesman. You want to come across as well. Now, communication is very key. So you want to talk about your communication skills. If you've done a job where you're using the phone, I want you to give some sort of numbers. How many calls would you be expecting a day? Putting that on your CV is great as well. So in terms, say you've done a customer service job, or, numbers are always key in recruitment because a lot of employers look at numbers. So even if you've worked in a retail shop, I would say, look, I served up to 200 customers a day. Even if you worked in McDonald's, say I served 200 customers a day and I took transactions of, £7,000. This was, and then it gives you an idea of the sort of volume you can do. So in terms of that, your transferable skills will be, look, he can serve 200 customers. He can probably talk to 50 people a day on the phone. So I would give very good examples of that. So your past abilities, even if it's academic, so your studies, you could say, look, I was the highest achiever in, a class of 30. I came top 3 for my last exam. These sorts of examples are great. So give numbers in your examples. Now, preparing for the interview is obviously 3 parts. So number 1 is do your research on the company. So no matter how small or big, look on their website, have a look at their jobs, see what type of industry they're in. Ask them what the challenges are in that industry. What would be the first 6 months look like for myself? What would be the most challenging? If you were starting off in recruitment like I am, I would definitely ask the company itself, what advice would you give me so I'm successful in my position, if I am successful for the role? Now, that's doing your research on the company. Look up their jobs, see what they do, check out their LinkedIn page. Guarantee they're going to have a LinkedIn page. See what type of work they post, how big the company is, and just see how it's structured. Now, the other part is obviously do your research on the job. Now, this will become apparent at either telephone interview stage, or doing your research on just generic sort of job adverts. Googling in, or I've got other videos on my channel that you can look at. It'll give you an idea of what recruitment's like. I would definitely touch on the job advert. So they wrote the job advert, person specific. If it's not too much information, look on their website and see what they're actually looking for. And the final part is your suitability for the role. So you want to come across well, great communication, sound great on the phone, and really have that get to go attitude. Now, with that being said, every employer will interview differently and be looking for other people. If you do need help on interview tips, I'll be happy to help out either via email or on the phone. I'll be happy to just go through a few questions with you if you kind of know who you're going to be interviewing by or what company. It's much easier for me to say. So this is a very broad sort of interview techniques, but I hope it helps give you a bit of insight into what recruitment consultants look for, and recruitment directors they look for. So good luck, let me know how it goes, and I hope your interviews go well.